Hey, Tracy and everybody. Hey, Facebook Live and Internet World here. Charles Swanberg with Caimeiju Realty. You are here on Escrow Tuesdays. Welcome. Hey, Narhee, how you doing?
Good. How are you?
Hanging in there. It is 2021 and thank goodness, almost March. Holy moly. But we have an amazing guest today. She is the president of the DFW Dallas chapter of Aria, and an amazing real estate agent and person. We have the amazing Tracy Lee. How are you, Tracy?
Hi, I'm good, Charles. And how are you?
Oh, pretty good. Yeah, we'll get to the snowstorms, and hey, there's a lot of ways. There's a lot of people that are, need our help in Texas. So we'll get to that part of it later. But for right now, Tracy, if you could introduce yourself and tell us a little bit about you.
Sure. Yeah. Thank you for having me here. I'm so honored to be here on the show with you guys. And I'm Tracy Lee. I'm from Aria Dallas chapter. I'm a commercial advisor with S1EP, and I am Chinese. I born and grew up in China, from a small coastal city called Yantai in Shandong, which is next to. If you know, familiar with the Qingdao beer, that's where Qingdao beer.
Oh,
yeah,
that's cool.
Yeah, in 2000, I went to Canada as an international student by myself, and I was worked there. Sorry, I think did I get cut off?
No, you're here with us.
No, you're still good.
You're not going anywhere.
We're still listening. You got it. So you went to Canada.
Yeah, I went to Canada as an international student by myself, and almost 10 years there. I graduated from college and worked there, and later on get an immigrant there. I was doing retail, wholesale furniture business. I very enjoy my life there, except the cold weather.
Okay, yeah.
So 2019, as I mentioned earlier, I moved to Dallas, Texas. I have been here for almost 12 years. And the very beginning, I worked as the corporate accountant at the JP Morgan Chase and the insurance company. But in 2012, me and my husband start investing in real estate in Dallas. And in 2015, I get my Texas real estate agent license and become full-time realtor.
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow. Okay.
Yeah, it's you always wonder why, real estate, right? I mean, it's just crazy.
Yeah, so you went to Canada, and were you studying business? Were you was investing something that you always wanted to do?
Yeah, I went Canada for study. I graduated from accounting major.
Okay.
Background. That's why later on I can learn to bank and yeah. So
I see. So then in 2015, you went into the banking industry?
At the beginning, like 2010.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, 2010 to 2014, I'm an accountant. Yeah, full time.
Okay.
Yeah, I always dream to have my own business in US. So yeah, always looking for the opportunity.
Well, I mean, real estate is a great way to do that, right? It is basically your own business. By the way, Sunny Chan from San Francisco says hi. Dick Lee from Boston says hi. So you got two ends of the world here meeting in the middle, Tracy. So you got fans out there. A lot of people also coming out on Facebook Live. So in case you're joining us just now on Escrow Tuesdays here on Facebook Live, we have the amazing Tracy Lee here, the Dallas chapter. So you're doing the real estate stuff, and And I understand you have a CCIM designation, which is not like, a weekend course. It's a lot of studying. But how did you get involved with Aria, or how did that happen? How did you find Aria, or did Aria come looking for you?
I, yeah, good friend of mine, Dennis Zhu. He was working at the title company in 2016, and he invited me a few local Aria events. After I attend those events, I was thinking, hey, for Asian American, who is working in the real estate industry,
right?
I think it's not only like networking and get some business done, and also I think it's a great organization. We can support each other to get back to the community and also have our own voice and a footprint in the US. So it's pretty cool organization.
And
Yeah.
Cindy Tran from Los Angeles, or actually LA Coastal, has just joined us too. She was on our show a couple of episodes ago or so. But wow. So but that one person from the title company, so you started going to some events, you thought it was a great organization, but Tracy, you're the chapter president of one of the largest chapters in the Asian Real Estate Association network. I mean, there's only 42 of us that get that privilege now every year, and there's about 17,000 members. So there's a little missing space here. So, you started going to events. How did you first then become a member and a board member? Who got you to say, Tracy, I've got this special liquid here. My buddy here is drinking the Aria Kool-Aid.
That looks like wine, Charles.
So who was that person that got you more involved?
I think there will be great leader in Dallas called Daniel Yin, and he was the one always encourage me and show me around the area, all the opportunities. Yeah. So, and the more I know Aria, I went to national event, the more I get involved to more.
All right, so Daniel got you kind of more involved. By the way, Brian says hello. Audra Lorenzo from the North LA chapter says hello. Chica Mori from Silicon Valley said hello. So
hello everyone.
Yeah, so Daniel started getting you to get more involved, but how did you then? Did you apply for the board position? Did they come saying, Tracy, we need you? What was that story? Because I know you were working with them in business.
Yeah, Daniel definitely, and also I've been inspired by a past leader,
right?
Like as the president, like Jad, Cassie, all those great leaders, and they demonstrate how how they can their leadership and also and how we can give back to the community.
Right.
So
right.
Yeah, when this is unexpected from me, but I also, when the opportunity come, right, and there's an opening, and they ask me, hey, you want to or I was like, okay, and you guys support me, people like, yeah. So I'm like, okay, I take the role. So
president of a chapter.
Wow, that's a big step.
Yes.
Well,
so honored to be on that position. Yes.
Right. Well, we are honored and we are grateful, and we are grateful for those folks that whatever they do, voluntold, trickery, whatever it takes, any kind of because it takes it's going to be and taking a lot of work, even in support roles. Running a chapter is not for the faint of heart. It really does take a lot of work. We all know that. That's for sure.
Right. Yep. And so now you have the Aria experience and the network, and you're in this the real estate industrial side. Do you come across any crazy out of this world stories that maybe you can share with us?
Yeah, for the I'm a commercial broker. I'm doing commercial. So for part of commercial, is every transaction could have crazy and the challenge story behind. Since each transaction is so different. Yeah, I can share a recent close warehouse deal here. Um, I get a two buyer and they are partners. And at the beginning, the first, only the one, they are first time warehouse buyer. And
Wow, see, it's not just houses, but we have first time warehouse buyers. You know?
First for
It is kind of
everything.
funny, but it exists.
yeah, at the beginning, only one of them is very interested to purchase building. Another, partner buyer is not sure. But as their buyer's broker, I have to go sit down with them and provide more market analysis and also educate them and give them recommendation why this is a better opportunity. So yeah, it was not, the process. Yeah. And also after the same and during the same transaction, after more than 2 months negotiation and the finalize, we get both party agree on the terms. And right before the seller signed the contract and the seller asked us for more time to consider if they want to sign a contract with us. So, and since I know they are waiting for potential buyer who told them they could submit a high offer. Yeah, during this, because right now the industrial warehouse market is pretty hot in Dallas. So
Yeah, it's hot everywhere, right? I mean, it
yeah,
is, well, not last couple weeks, but yeah, definitely.
yeah, especially after this year. Yeah. Yeah. As a buyer's broker at the moment, I request an in-person meeting with seller and the seller's agent. I was able to, directly to convince them to continue the contract with my buyer without changing any terms on the contract. Yeah. And
Wow.
so that's pretty challenge, pretty cool experience.
Right. So you didn't have to sleep in the warehouse the night before the inspector arrived to get there early, or you didn't have to sweep out like, the homeless people in the warehouse or anything crazy like that, right? So
Yeah, luckily we did it.
yeah. You didn't like come to the warehouse and on the roof you see somebody frozen on the power, wires because they were trying to steal the copper out of the building, and you're like, like, yeah. Hey, yeah, I'm sure I'm very happy that you're on the show because you're an industrial specialist like myself. So, there are definitely some crazy stuff that we run into that I don't think the residential world would kind of really understand. But, it is interesting, right? It's like there is a little bit of that excitement if they're also buying their first building too. They don't try to show it, but, it's definitely there. So.
We're gonna have to do a show on you, Charles, and you're gonna have to share some crazy stories. It seems like you
Yeah,
got
I
a
don't know. We're
couple
gonna
up
have to
your
call that a
sleeves.
different show. Maybe we'll have a guest. Maybe we'll have a guest host. Whatever. But hey, Narhee Vu from Minnesota's joining us. Hi, Narhee. Thanks for hopping on the call. So, thank you so much for sharing that. As you can tell, what can happen in escrow, Narhee?
Anything and everything from first time home buyers to first time warehouse buyers,
Yeah,
right?
you just never know what you are going to get.
Yep.
All right.
That is so true.
All
Oh,
right.
look at there.
Yeah, we've got us again, but of course, we also have Tracy Lee. Oops, I put the Orange County chapter president. All right, don't look at that. That was from last week. I keep screwing up this again, every time. Anyway, all right. So, Dallas chapter president, broker, SVN, CCIM. Can you give us just a real quick, like 1 minute, what CCIM is all about?
Yeah, CCIM, the full name is a Certified Commercial Investment Member. Is a paying that it's a CCIM, designate paying definitely will add value on, on your experience if you are a commercial broker. And also it will give you some high level commercial skill set that can help you to help you and your client to deal with the commercial transactions. Yeah, and I am starting involved in North Texas chapter from 2019. And
Yeah, we saw that I saw it in some of your photos. I know you're fairly heavily involved. I think you're even involved. Isn't like the Korean CCIM kind of chapter too?
No,
bit?
I went there for.
Oh, you were just in the photo. Okay. Okay.
Yeah, I meet their leader, a Korea leader,
Right.
in a national conference, and then they invite me to their Korea conference. Yeah, and when some few local CCIM commercial brokers, and I also went to China conference as well, since it just happened during that same period. So it's it's great trip. And also I'm on their international and the diversity committee in the North Texas chapter this year. So yeah, I always would like to involve more if there's a need. So this way I can networking and learn from others and also give back to our community. That's a great thing for me to do.
Wow. Okay. Yeah, that's that's a designation that is very, I should say, not easy to get. Takes a lot of study. I know Minnie Long from the Orange County chapter last week is also a CCI member. So hats off to them. I never got there. Maybe I'm not smart enough for it, but it's a lot of investment analysis and smarts. Maybe one day.
Yeah, sorry, correct. To make a correction, I haven't get the CCIM designate pin yet, but I'm sitting on the exam.
Okay, we're close. But by the time this airs, we'll be done. Okay, no problem. All right.
Yeah, I was supposed to get on last April. Because of pandemic, it's a lot of things changed. So yeah, I was planning to get this April, hopefully, if the COVID getting better.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Awesome.
All righty. So what we wanted to do was share, you guys gave, or Tracy, you gave us a kind of a top 5 list that we're going to now cover. And it's always interesting to see what, our guests have. And sometimes it follows a common theme, right? Remember last week, Narhee, when we were talking to Mindy and Julie, they kind of, we asked them separately and they kind of came up with a very similar kind of organic top 5. Now, what I like about this one is this one's a little different, has the same theme. So we'll start with the first one here. And so Tracy, always learning. I mean, that's just, something that shows humbleness and shows always a willingness to figure new things out, right?
Yeah. For me, I always thinking to have a better solution or better way to do things. And also, I would like to have an open mind to learn something new. And sometimes, of course, the learning process may, could be challenged, but I found out those challenges can speed up my growth. And also I would like to learn from people. And I believe everyone has their strengths that I can learn from. Yeah, that's me.
Well, that's good. And of course, this shows, which is to stay positive.
Yeah, stay positive for me. It will help me to stay focused. And I found myself when I am positive, I found myself I have unlimited energy. I can get things done right and quicker. So
Right.
yeah.
So when you're staying positive, then you have more willingness to learn new things. Yeah, that is correct.
Yeah. Well, these days, I would say most of the people in the real estate business are doing pretty well, despite the pandemic kind of challenges. But, this is always something you want to aspire to do, right, Tracy?
Yeah, yes, the contribution for me is contribute to the family, the business, and the community. So when I contribute, I found my own value easily. So I feel happy. Yeah.
Right. Wow.
It all goes hand in hand. You feel happy, you stay positive, you learn, and now we're going to have to communicate. And that's kind of like the theme of the top 5.
Yeah, community. I think the good community can help me to have a better understanding, to build a strong relationship with another. Also, it helped me to solve the problem. I get things done easily and quickly. So
That's fantastic. And of course, collaboration, that's a new one that we haven't heard yet, but it's so important to maybe not be as much of a secret agent, right? You want to kind of maybe include and group and share, right? It's and in the commercial world, Tracy, that if we get a deal that's like an office specialist, whatever, we're not going to try to do it ourselves. We'll refer to that specialist, right? So I think in commercial world, there's a lot more collaboration, that happens than most people realize.
yes, definitely. I'm agree with you, Charles. Yeah, and also I believe the teamwork is really can make a dream work happen. So for myself, I cannot always do things by myself. And to quote one of Stephen Jobs' last word, he said, "If you just want to walk fast, you walk alone. But if you want to walk far, you work together." So
nice.
I believe for that. Yeah.
No, that's a great crap. All righty. Well, thank you so much for your top 5. It's always interesting to hear from, amazing leaders on what, drives them and what their top 5 kind of things are. Sometimes it's silly and it's places to visit, but lately it's been kind of personal, right, Narhee? They've been like,
yeah,
how to live
inspiring.
by, what's my top 5 things to do. So it's getting a little close home. All right. Well, in this segment, Tracy, we will kind of explore an interesting side of our guests. And so I was talking to a few of your friends to try to get some information. And so don't be caught off guard or surprised, but this is a new segment that we're going to have fun with. Are you ready, Tracy? Yes. All right. Well, you have no choice, unfortunately. All right. So here we go. We are going to work on Tracy's line character obsession. Are you ready, Tracy?
All right.
We have everything. We have you with Connie. We have you with Brown. We have you with, I forgot that guy's last name anyway. Very popular in Taiwan. Of course, we're just kidding.
As always.
Yeah, we always are just kidding. But what we are now going to do is, hey, by the way, do you use Line a lot?
No, not really.
Because you're not Taiwanese, right? If you were Taiwanese or Japanese, you'd use Line all the time, right? So.
Yes,
Do you use WeChat more?
Oh, yes.
Okay.
All the, yeah.
Yeah. Actually, in Tri-County, we use WeChat as our kind of communication thing because most of the people in our group is, Mandarin speaking. So, all righty. You probably don't know this guy, right, Tracy? Okay, that's okay. You don't need to know. Yeah, that's all right. He had a show called Get Smart, but this is a new segment now that we came up with where our special guests will now share their kind of knowledge in their industry, right? So I decided that it's now going to be Tracy Lee's industrial word. It's supposed to be world, but word works too. Oops.
Word.
Man, I've been making a lot of typos on these now. You better be checking my spell check. Anyway.
No, it's good.
Actually, but it does
Fun.
work into Word. Now, you were talking about, Tracy, CCIM, and what is CCIM? What is Aria? Asian Realtor Extravaganza. So, it's hard to keep up with stuff. But Tracy, when in industrial world, it's all about the acronyms, right? So, the little buzzwords. So we're going to start off and explain together most of the real estate world that's actually listening who may just be in residential, but we want to kind of offer an insight on what makes industrial real estate tick. So you ready, Tracy? Here we go. All right. CL. Does that ring a bell? Yeah, at least in the Los Angeles area, we use that as a ceiling clearance, right? So, in the industrial building, you might have a minimum CL or whatever, but how important, Tracy, is ceiling clearance in an industrial building?
Oh, ceiling clearance.
It's everything, right?
Yes, it's very important. And how we do clear high here instead of high. Yeah.
Right.
So yeah, it's very important to the owner and to the certain type of business how they can storage their inventory.
Right. And how high you could stack, right? Because it's not just what you could put on the flat ground, but how high you could fill it up, right? Yeah. Mm-hmm. All right. Here's the next one. Hopefully you guys use this term, DH. It's a loading term.
Dock is a dock.
Yeah, dock high. So
a dock high.
Yeah, it's referred to a door. What do you remember how high that has to be? Something like 55 inches, right, for a truck to back up to on a door.
Yeah.
Yeah, and of course, Tracy, besides how high the building is, especially if it's a distribution building, loading is so important, right?
Mm-hmm. Yes, that's true. Yeah, you need to know what the space, what the way to drive in and drive back, and also how many dock door you need, how many ground level door you need. Yeah, right. For your.
Yeah, very important. All right, this one might be different in your area, but this refers to a zoning, which is M1, and that's typically the start of an industrial zoning. I don't know what they use in Dallas, but you kind of want to, most of the industrial spaces do allow some sort of anywhere from, it could be from warehousing to heavy manufacturing. So how is that done in Dallas?
We have light industrial or light and heavy industrial, and the light one is normally for regular distribution center use, and the heavily one they could do distribution and the manufacturing and all sort of they have bigger range of the
uses, right? Yeah. Hey, Atsuko Yube from the Bay Area is also joining us. Hi, Atsuko. I'm going to take the next two, and then I'll hand it off to Narhee to do the next 5 after this. So ESFR. Do you guys have ESFR in Texas?
Yeah.
That's the sprinkler rating that you have, which it stands for early suppression, fast response, or something like that. How important is sprinklers, Tracy, in an industrial building?
For us, every city is different. Have different code. And also, we always need to, check with the city if the building is meet with current standard, and have the inspector to inspect on it. And it's very important for safety issue. And also, we have, for clear high, our the level, the stuff need to step.
Right. So it'll limit. So if you have really bad sprinklers, you may not be able to stack your tires that will burn really well if they catch on fire. Right.
Mhm.
So
Yeah.
obviously the sprinklers, the higher you can get to the sprinklers, the better the sprinklers has to be, right, to put out the fire. So yeah. And then in this next one also deals with it, which are draft curtains. And I don't know if that's what you call that in Texas, but that's these things in the ceiling that will help you contain the smoke from one part of the building to another. Do you guys have those in the ceiling in Dallas?
Some building has it, and not all. Yeah. So at least for my experience, yeah.
Right. Yeah. So, yeah, I think it just depends on each particular area, but these are things that you would not find in a retail building or even an office building typically. So we will then, Narhee, I'll let you take the next 6 through 10.
What do we got here? All right, 4-wire. And Charles, you're gonna hop right on in, right, and toggle between. So we're gonna see.
Yeah, well, 4-wire.
4 wires.
It's got to be better than 3-wire, right? Yeah, I'm sure Tracy could explain a little bit. It refers to the power and what conductors you have in the wiring.
Yeah, the 4-wire. We have the code called. The number. It definitely stronger and newer. We always need to, when we purchase a building, we have to always check, what the how heavy the wire handle. Yeah. So, and if not, then is this meet what the business need? If not, then we have to maybe the buyer, after buying, they need to put a lot of money and the effort to change it. Is sometimes could be painful for that.
Right.
And we have the 3-phase. The 3-phase. Can you elaborate on that, Tracy?
3-phase. Sorry, I'm not.
Yeah, it's generally something that's in most of these modern buildings. It kind of sticks with the 4-wire, but most of the manufacturing facilities, I absolutely have to have 3-phase. And I guess it's a way that it uses less conductor and current to be able to provide the same amount of power, but it also makes it more efficient. So if you're a manufacturing company, you've got to have 3-phase power. And probably in Dallas, they're so modern they don't even have any old buildings that are 2-phase anyway. So most homes are all 2-phase because they don't require most of that.
Yeah, we do have phase and the old building. But in these days normally we have the 3-phase.
Right.
Building, especially building 1990. Yeah. After 1990, yeah.
So it seems like it's different between here and then over in Dallas, huh? A lot of difference.
And I don't think the basics, they might call things a little bit differently, but I think it's pretty similar.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
I'm learning too.
We may have a lot of newer building over here.
Right.
We have a bigger line. We continue build a new structure.
Okay, and then you have over there the rail spurs.
Yeah, and these are referring to basically in an industrial building. Some of them do have railroad cars that go behind it to you know, a lot of people don't realize they do still, it's not just everything in a container going to a rail dock, but some companies do require train service, right? Like a big baking company that needs to have a bunch of flour or chemicals, you know, rail cars, oil companies. So they will need rail spurs. And, you know, industrial experts like Tracy or myself, we even know how much it will cost to build one generally, you know, depending on the type of building. Because like all these are questions, right, Tracy, that a buyer needs or asks for, right, depending on what they're doing. So these are common things found actually in a industrial brochure, because buyers need to know what's the ceiling clearance, what's the, you know, what's the loading, what's the zoning, what's the sprinkler calculation, what's the power, what's, you know, do I have rail, do, you know, do I have draft curtain installed so I can stack the stuff as high, you know, there's so many pieces on it that's different than even other types of commercial real estate, right, Tracy? I mean, it's just crazy. And then I'm not saying this is limited to industrial buildings, but we do, when a building sells, encounter these things, right? Environmental reports and stuff.
Yes. Yeah. This is something I always recommend trying to do that.
Yeah. What's a phase one cost in Texas these days? I know in Southern California, they're anywhere from $1,800 to about $2,500. Is that about right?
About the same, around $2. Yeah.
Yeah. And for those of you who do not know what that is, it's an environmental report that is a bit more higher level than perhaps what they call a transaction screen or a government data report where they're just pulling up stuff. This is actually someone goes to the property, does some investigations on neighboring properties on if there's any possible contamination of the ground and soil. And they don't test in this type of report, but they do as much investigation. And there's phase two and remediation and all that stuff. I would imagine in Texas, where you have a lot of oil rich land, you know, you guys probably do a lot of this, right? Yeah, it's crazy. This is my favorite.
Oh my goodness, really? There's an explosion room?
Yeah, well, there was, you know, some of them, you know, because like Tracy, there's industrial buildings do sometimes mix chemicals and things, and they have to have these small little rooms in the warehouse that they do this kind of stuff.
Really? Like a soundproof, padded, everything?
Well, it's not about people worried about if they hear the explosion. They just don't want the explosion to explode the whole building, you know, hopefully just a small room. I mean, the guy in that explosion room, he's toast, but at least the rest of the building, you know, right? So Tracy Lee will probably send all her, you know, cranky clients and excuse us, can you wait in this particular room? No, they actually have an explosion room, you know, it's.
Oh, with a one-way glass, you know?
No. This is completely sealed off with, you know, concrete brick. Oh yeah, you're in there, you're on your own. You know, yeah, there's, you know, it's not just warehousing, right? It's industrial. It has a lot of stuff to do with building things, making things, and all that kind of stuff. So, well, thank you so much, Tracy, for, you know, I've always liked to share this kind of stuff because I think people don't realize how specialized commercial real estate can be. Whenever I see a requirement on the internet, like on the Aria networking forum, hi, I'm looking for a commercial realtor in LA. I'm like, what does that mean? You know, I mean, retail, office, industrial, multifamily, hospitality, you know, airports, seaports, whatever. I mean, there's just anything that's not a residential is commercial. So, and they're all so specialized, right?
Yeah,
Tracy,
there's
we
so
never
much
asked
to
you,
learn.
Yeah, why did you choose industrial, or did industrial find you?
Oh gosh.
I was doing some retail and how I get into the industrial. I get a lot of client. They have their the need, and they ask me, you know, to fund the building for their business, or investor they want to invest in industrial. And also myself, I work for wholesale for furniture store in the Canada.
Oh, I see.
Well, yeah, so it's the warehouse is I was there back then. I always work at the warehouse, so
Wow.
I'm familiar with that. I'm okay, you know.
Right. Yeah. It's, I would say it's definitely not part of the discipline that we see a lot of women in. So that's great to see, it's, I would say that you find them more in, office or retail or investments. So, well, that's great. It's great to talk to somebody that knows, this language. Well, Tracy, after you are done as a guest on our show, you could come back on YouTube, watch your episode all over again. And don't forget to hit subscribe. And we are trying to reach a certain amount of subscription level. What's that number, Narhee?
1 million.
That's right. And as you know, we're about 1 million short of being at 1 million subscribers.
Yep.
It is amazing. What I wanted to allude earlier was, obviously Texas, last few weeks, I hear it's right now in the 70s, right, in Texas and overall,
Yeah.
so it's back to, but there were a ton of challenges that the cold weather brought. So, and I noticed this also on your website, on the Dallas-Fort Worth chapter, as far as promoting the Aria Foundation. Can you explain just a little bit about what that is?
For the Aria Foundation, they offer, I think last week,
Right.
they offered 30K to the family, if they didn't remember wrong the number. Yeah,
Right, about that. But you were able to apply for help and disaster relief, right?
Yes. So we get they planned for 30 family, but they get I heard they get 700 or 7,000.
Yeah, no, it was a big number. I think it was 7,000. Yeah,
Yeah.
I mean, it just shows you how much people were in need. We saw a picture, I thought Mike Cito posted a picture of someone's home where you had these icicles, stalagmites, coming down because the water pipes broke, right? Texas isn't used to that much cold weather, and then the water pipes break, and then they leak, and then they freeze. I mean, you guys just, I know a lot of you guys without power, drinking water was affected,
Right.
So how is it now? I mean, obviously the weather is back, but I know I was talking to Daniel, and he was on the phone 24/7 with insurance adjusters because the sprinklers we were talking about, with the cold weather went off and you had flooded stores and, oh, what a mess.
Yeah, definitely a lot of business owner has to deal with the pipe leaking, the flood, and also the homeowner has to deal with their flood house right now. Insurance company, is super busy right now. And yeah, it's hard to find. I heard even hard to find the plumber. Yeah, I heard one plumber has 200 appointment set up last Saturday when the weather just started getting warmer.
Wow.
So yeah, and definitely, and there's apartment get fired and get flood, and people just need to have a place to stay and have the daily stuff to yeah.
Yeah, I know it was on your page that you guys posted, but as Aria members and leaders, we obviously do have a nonprofit that takes donations in the form of the Aria Foundation, and we are happy to distribute that and get it to the people in need. So, please be kind and contribute to the Aria Foundation when you get a chance. But Tracy, thank you very much for having your chapter highlight that on the page, because that's when you go to the Aria Facebook, the Dallas-Fort Worth chapter Facebook page, that's the first thing you see, and that's so important. So, well, Tracy, upcoming next week on Escrow Tuesdays, we're going to have, do you know who that person is? Of course, that's Han from Policy, right? I mean, And Liza Fong, the newly installed San Francisco chapter president, has just joined us. Hello, Lisa. Sorry.
Hello.
Hi.
Anyway, we have Bowie Oliveira from the Miami chapter also joining us. And then, of course, Esther Chow from Tri-County. So many powerful women leaders. It's amazing, Amy Kong's one of her things was to get women in power and to really, help them with, leadership. And I'm telling you, we've had just a string of powerful, women leaders coming and going. So thank you very much. Anyway, I just love this picture because, I've known Calvin, for a while, and Daniel Ang is just an amazing guy. And there you are, the three amigos there. Looking like you got some brown sugar kind of boba tea or something.
Oh, that looks so good.
Yeah.
Yeah, no kidding. Give me some more of that stuff, right? Wow. Yeah, so Tracy, hey, thank you very much for joining us. I know when I reached out to you, you're like, what is this show? What is this all about? Be easy on me. Come on, this is just kind of fun. But for someone who can take it, we're coming after you, and we're not going to be easy on you. Maybe it might be the next person.
Yeah, that's what you always say.
I always say you have to kind of threaten, right? Yeah. But we thank you so much, Tracy, for all your hard work and stepping up and being that Dallas chapter leader. It's always, we were at the leadership summit 2 years ago, I believe, when I think Jed was still the president, or no, Jed had just was the immediate past president. But you had the gala the day before, and there was 3,000 people at the gala or something like that. It's crazy. But, that was amazing. And it was really interesting to talk to, because when I got there a little early, I think it was me and Shirley Chen or somebody else came on, and we were talking to Jed, goes, how did you do it? And he kind of broke it down to, he was willing to be open and explain how he did it because other chapter leaders could understand. And it kind of made sense on how he structured it. And maybe we could do that here in some other smaller chapter, but it was very inspiring. So you guys always have inspiring leaders. And here we are on our show, Narhee. We have one more
Yes,
of the
we
legacy
do.
that is in Texas. And I hope to see Christine Chow in Austin maybe next month. I know they've got a golf tournament. I hope things return back to normal. Tracy, is there anything that you guys have planned upcoming that we should talk about or promote with your chapter?
We are planning to have our first commercial event in March. And also we have a cliff shooting event in April.
What shooting?
A cliff shooting?
Cliff shooting, yes. It will be outdoor. It will be April 22nd.
Like shooting guns and stuff?
Yeah.
It's you Texans. That's what they're all about. Guns and barbecue. That's all you guys think about. I know. Not a bad thing. Okay.
Come over.
Wow. You must have really enjoyed that, right? You come to Texas and it's like, wow, I didn't realize that everyone owns 3 guns here. I'm like, okay.
Yeah, a totally different world over there.
Oh, fun. Anyway, thank you so much, Tracy. Look, everyone here on Facebook Live, if you guys ever need anything industrial-wise done in the greater state of Texas, please contact Tracy down here. She knows.
And in California, we have Charles.
Yeah, me, I could do a little industrial stuff here and there. But you do have any escrows in Los Angeles or Southern California, please reach out to Narhee here. That's what the show is named after, Narhee Nguyen at Tower Escrow Tuesdays. Anyway. All right, Tracy, again, thank you very much for joining us. Best wishes to your chapter. And we will see you next week as we will have Han, the policy chair, on our show. All right, you guys, take care and have a great week.